The bad dream, I think to myself, as we steamrolled the Tenderloin flat with our third gear alcoholism. See what I'm telling you? Only to watch them snap back like a fixture picture in a pop-up book the second we passed. And I could feel the million eyes on us, curious and vacant like lawn gnomes in the grass. Only here this field yielded nothing but what the rest of the world considers to be trash. The palace of fine junk, a curio shop at the mouth of the whale, Turk and Larkin, a mammal without a tail. You never know when it ends, it just thins out into some corner of the night. The bad dream, I think to myself, is life. For most of us, to compare anything to a bad dream is to say that that thing is not the way the world ought to be. But the fundamental question of how anything came to be still remains. And someday we will lie here, still remains, in the false order of this 80-some-odd-year reverie. At the Comeback Club, which is more like a comeback hammer than a pub, they serve bourbon shots and sifters and dine on egg rolls and signal the buying of the drinks with the pass of a turned-down shot glass. And George Strait commandeers the jukebox, and nothing dies, but everything lasts. And there's not a shadow of a doubt that I'm the only one in here with health insurance. Tonight I will meet a man described to me as always on the verge of a nervous breakdown, holding court at Turk and Taylor Streets, a hero of sorts. His poems are for sale behind the bar, wrapped in a rubber band and stuffed in a mason jar. An anguish to his smile, a touch of deceit in his strain to lift the heavy machinery of his face. Here we watch arm crack deal takedowns like it was Giants Dodgers. The count is 3-2, and it's 3 and 2 and 1. Then the pitcher in the pitch black suit raises his gun, and the slugger yields. And we fill our pitchers and plow our fields, which never cease to spring to life the moment we turn our backs. But tonight you possess something that I lack. You have imbued these men with some kind of wild ambition at the Geary Club. The daytime drinkers, the lifers, the drinking dead bear their 70-year-old souls. The telephone gamblers put their slot machine hopes on hold to buy you around. And mad as it might sound, the taxidermy tiger that lords over the bar almost smiled at me. And I may just have aged 45 years that very day. What I want to know most of all is, when does a night become a way? And when does that night turn into a day? And if it does, how long will I laugh? And how gentle will be the sway of this tree in the valley of Wineland? And I will place one hand on my heart and the other on the journal of my dreams, and swear that I can rarely tell the difference between. And if it does, how... She only calls me when she's drunk. I need to drink this. She only calls me when she's drunk, which is when I appear to her to be most charming, when the distance between us isn't quite as alarming as when we wake up in the morning. She only calls me when she loses her keys outside a bar on 16th Street, when her roommates have sworn off answering the phone. It's when she feels most alone. She only calls me when she spots her ex from afar with his new woman catching the trolley car to the opera. It's when the blues sets in just as the booze bludgeons them. When all the lives around her appear so neat and complex. It's important to note that she never calls me for sex. And you can imagine how that makes me feel. Her skin that smells of gin-soaked orange peels, the firm yield of her small brown breast against my side. Sometimes I wish I could have died the first time that I made love, so to have been spared the rest. She only calls me when she's drunk, and our stars always align, because for every dialing of my number, there's a voice on the other line. As though she had gone blind and not noticed how her eyes drifted out of her body into the circuitry of the slot machine. Everything sucked dry by the magnetic pull of a possible electrical victory. All the secondary vices set aside. Cigarette burned down its length to the butt that dangled at the corner of the tray, the cocktail of melted ice pooled in the glass. I am in no position to say that she does not stare down the dark hallway of eternity from this Buddhist hell, plastic, neon overwhelm. Amid the clicking of spinning slots, the monotone hum of the machines, the buzz and the ring, a singular voice sings through the whir of flashing light, and for a moment her face goes bright as the sun when I leave Las Vegas, a flicker behind the mountains before the floodlights of the Strip drown out the stars. You're doing it right if you wake up on the edge of the bed. If the preceding dream found you dangling over a ledge like the old fool in the Buddhist tale who can't help but grasp at the marvelous bushel of strawberries, ripe and red like the quivering lips of Kali. He grasps, though he knows he is falling. It is an existential calling, which is why you never hear of people laughing when they die. As though it is closer to crying, being dead. Now I know why. I didn't ask for this understanding. It came like Christ, like a thief in the night, like the other man in the song Tennessee Waltz, the one who wins the girl by spinning stone into pearl, the one whom I imagined to remark how granular the ashes of his love in his hand, clumpy fragments of living sand she turned out to be, before throwing her remains and himself into the arms of the sea. You are doing it right if you wake up on the edge of the bed, because there is no waking up at all when you're... They are tearing down the Cathedral Hill Hotel to build another hospital on the thoroughfare, in the town that turned from an open plain to a junkyard of memories right before my eyes. I am pacing back and forth in anticipation of the late bus on a Saturday morning, my stomach littered with the aftermath of champagne. One summer day we sneaked in through the garage elevator with a picnic basket of liquor and quietly made our way to the private swimming pool of the Cathedral Hill Hotel, and we sat there all afternoon, rolling cigarettes with the patience and deliberateness of those who imagine themselves to have every hour in the world still a step ahead. The demolition crew will cordon off the block, and the Cathedral Hill Hotel will lie in an outline of chalk when they blow it up. And here I catch the late bus and follow my friends out the front of the building into the seeming eternity of the days that lie ahead.